In this video, we're going to go over the derivative of inverse sine. So the question we're going to answer is, if y is equal to sine inverse of x, then what is dy dx? The things you'll need is you'll need the derivative formula for sine, you'll need this Pythagorean identity that everybody knows, and you'll need this fact that the range of the inverse sine function is, in radians, it's from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So here's how it goes. Start with y is equal to sine inverse of x. Then you can swap the role of input and output. This is what an inverse function does. Take the derivative on both sides with respect to x. On the right side, you have to be careful to use the chain rule because you're doing an implicit differentiation. Then you can just solve for dy dx. So this last step right here, this is just a little bit of algebra. And this is an expression, 1 over cosine y, is an expression for the derivative, but the problem is that the original function just talked about x, and here you have this derivative formula that has y in it, and that's a little weird. So we're going to fix this by using the Pythagorean identity. In this particular formula, it's going to be helpful to solve for cosine of y, and the reason is because of this cosine of y right here. So take this formula, solve for cosine of y, and you should have plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine squared y. Now I want to talk about this plus or minus sign because it's here due to square rooting in this particular equation. But here's a picture of the unit circle, and because sine inverse of x has range over here, so you get angles y, which are from negative pi over 2 radians, that's down here, all the way up to pi over 2 radians, which is up here. So your angle y is always over here on the right half of the Cartesian plane. You're either in, y is an angle in first quadrant or in the fourth quadrant. That means that cosine of y, which is the x value, cosine is always going to be positive over here on the right. So now you can actually just drop this plus or minus because this is always going to be positive. All right, now take this equation and rewrite it using the fact that sine of y is equal to x. And if you do that, you'll have cosine of y is square root of 1 minus x squared. And now take this new fact here, and we're going to use this to rewrite this. So rewrite this 1 over cosine y using the fact that cosine y is equal to root 1 minus x squared, and you get the derivative.